Based upon the research we sort of published in 2014, what we were able to categorise about 6 or 7 different types of white-collar crime, or financial crime, if you like. And what we concluded is that perhaps the main example would be mortgage fraud that is directly linked into the US subprime mortgage crisis. So in terms of evidence, we looked at the sort of law enforcement response in the States by the FBI. And we're able to determine that since the financial crisis 2007-8, they've obtained over 1,100 convictions purely for mortgage fraud. And if you compare that with prosecution rates prior to the financial crisis, there's a significant increase in terms of investigations. They've established hundreds of task forces across the US to target this type of illegal activity. In addition to the figures provided by the FBI, if you take a look at the use of suspicious activity reports that are filed to FinCEN in America, there's been a rapid expansion of allegations of mortgage fraud. So, for example, in 2012, 2013, FinCEN received over 93,000, I think, give or take a few thousand maybe, SARS related to mortgage fraud. Before the financial crisis, maybe under 9,000. There's been a rapid spike of both in prosecutions by the FBI and also allegations of mortgage fraud reported to FinCEN by US party-taking institutions. So I think that to me would be the main type of illegal activity. You can also then throw into the hat, yes, I appreciate their estimates from the FBI, but rapid expansion of the amount of mortgage fraud committed in America. So figures in 2013 claim it's now in excess of $14 to $15 billion per year. But of course, all estimates for money laundering and fraud are all mathematically flawed because it's quite difficult to quantify a precise figure. So that would be sort of my main white-collar crime. Other examples you can also refer to that will be market manipulation, such as the rigging of LIBOR and Forex recently. If you take a look at the notices imposed in the US and in the UK by the now Financial Conduct Authority and the US Department of Justice, it appears that a lot of the conduct was prior to the financial crisis, especially with the rigging of LIBOR. So what we've then seen, obviously, in the past 4 years has been, if I can call it, nice media-friendly headline figures by the press, that Barclays has been fined 59.9 million and RBS and so on. But that's a small penalty compared to the amount of transactions involved in the LIBOR scandal. Perhaps the most contentious financial crime would be the war on terrorism, or the financial war on terrorism, where what you end up with is the how can I phrase this, the redistribution of financial resources by President George Bush away from the FBI to promoting homeland security, which is perfectly understandable post 9/11, but that had a massive impact upon the ability of the FBI, and in their words, to quell the incoming tsunami of mortgage fraud, which they reported in 2004. So despite efforts by the FBI to have more money, to have more resources to tackle mortgage fraud, that was rebuked by George Bush on many occasions. And it got to a point where the the financial crisis official inquiry report in 2011 specified that was a major factor which limited the FBI's, impaired them to actually tackle mortgage fraud. I think LIBOR is a little bit more difficult because you are right, and it's an issue I had with my students. I've taught this topic for a number of years, LIBOR, and they're not quite sure what LIBOR means or what it involves. But when you actually put it into estimates of being 800 million pounds worth in terms of transactions, they then think, well, hang on, the penny's dropped a minute. This actually affects my credit rating, my use of the credit card, loans, and so on. So I think it probably is one of the largest financial scandals, which ongoing investigations appear to be naming up to 19 to 20 banks. You've got the recent conviction last week in America of the 2 Rabobank traders, and obviously Tom Hayes' conviction and sentence 14 years in August. So I'd say it's definitely up there with the biggest financial scandals.